Tonight I'm going to talk to you about truth and about fairy tales, about justice and about injustice. In the months to follow, you're going to learn that many of the things which some of the major news agencies have been telling you are untrue.
You don't elevate it to that status. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen,
they're a bunch of
come on.
screwballs. I know, they're a bunch of nutcases.
However, in the real world in which you and I must live, fairy tales are dangerous. They're dangerous because they're untrue. Anything which is untrue is dangerous. And it is all the more dangerous when a fairy tale becomes accepted as reality simply because it has an official seal of approval, or because honorable men announce that you must believe it, or because powerful elements of the press tell you that the fairy tale is true.
A video message published on radio talk show host Alex Jones's website. The actor recently requested a meeting with President Obama to urge him to open an investigation into the 9/11 attacks. Now, Sheen says they were an inside job and that the 9/11 Commission report was, quote, a blatant work of manipulation.
Is a fiction and a myth, and that it should be brought to an end. The people of this country don't have to be protected from the truth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule and meeting me here at my home. Why not the White House?
Well, Charlie, unlike the Pentagon's cameras, the White House is at work all the time.
Seriously? Mr. President, we only have 20 minutes today to discuss 20 points, so we better get going with this interview.
Ah, yes, the 9/11 Commission report. It was a thorough investigation, and I'm sure it was very, very exhausting, but we came down to the truth.
Mr. President, your nose, it doesn't look so good. Mirror, please, mirror. Damn, if I had the same thing going on with you and only my penis would grow longer, man, I'd be lying all the time.
What do I do?
Well, Mr. President, every fairy tale I've ever read, it's obvious. You're just going to have to tell the truth.
Charlie, are you trying to tell me the 9/11 Commission
Is a fairy tale.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll tell the truth.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, first, on the FBI's most wanted list, Osama bin Laden is not charged with any crimes from 9/11. When I called the FBI and asked them why this was the case, they replied, there's not enough evidence to link bin Laden to the crime scene. When they later discovered he had never been indicted by the DOJ.
Osama bin Laden's CIA agent name was Timothy Osman.
Number two, FBI translator Sybil Edmonds was dismissed and gagged by the DOJ after she revealed that the government had foreknowledge of plans to attack American cities, using planes as bombs as early as April 2001.
The fact, sir, that prior to September 11, 2001, NORAD had already in the works plans to simulate in an exercise a simultaneous hijacking of two planes in the United States.
In July of 2009, Mrs. Edmonds broke the federal gag order and went public to reveal that Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, and the Taliban were all working for and with the CIA up until this day.
I really can't answer that. My teleprompter just went out.
No, that's not funny.
This is off the record, right, Charlie?
Number three. The following is a quote from Mary Giuliani during an interview on 9/11 with Peter Jennings on ABC News.
Global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism.
I went down there to the scene and we set up headquarters at 75 Barclay Street, which was right there with the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, and the head of the emergency management. We were operating out of there when we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse. And it did collapse before we actually got out of there. We were trapped in the building for 10, maybe 15 minutes before we got out. When we did get out, we headed north and we took a lot of people with us. Who told him this?
Global terror.
To this day, the answer to that question remains unanswered, completely ignored and empathetically denied by Mayor Giuliani on several public
Global terrorism.
occasions.
Global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism.
I'm sure Rudy wouldn't lie.
You're lying. I can see.
Ain't no harm done, you heard?
Number 4. In April 2004, USA Today reported, in the 2 years before September 11th attacks, the North American Aerospace Defense Command conducted exercises simulating what the White House says was unimaginable at the time. Hijacked airliners used as weapons to crash into targets and cause mass
We're going to take a closer look tonight at another example of where, despite the conventional wisdom, there were people in the United States who actually were preparing to defend against the kind of attacks which occurred here on 9/11.
One of the targets was the World Trade Center.
Steel building has never collapsed under fire.
Number 5. On September 12, 2007, CNN's Anderson Cooper 360 reported the mysterious white plane spotted and videotaped by multiple media outlets flying in restricted airspace over the White House shortly before 10 a.m. on the morning of 9/11.
Mysterious plane was seen flying right over the president's residence. Even some CNN staffers saw it. To this day, it has never been officially explained.
Was in fact Air Force's E-4B, a specially modified Boeing 747 with a communications pod behind the cockpit, otherwise known as the Doomsday Plane. Though fully aware of the event, the 9/11 Commission did not deem the appearance of the military plane to be of any interest and did not include it in the final 9/11 Commission report.
E-4Bs? Not relevant. Would you put that in your report? Trying to stay out of jail, you know.
Number 6. 3 F-16s assigned to Andrews Air Force Base, 10 miles from Washington, D.C., are conducting training exercises in North Carolina, 207 miles away from the first plane that crashed into the WTC. Even at significantly less than their top speed of 1,500 miles per hour, they could still have defended the skies over Washington well before 9 a.m., more than 37 minutes before Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon. However, they did not return until after 9:55 a.m.
The way you pull something off like this is to have an exercise.
Andrews Air Force Base had no armed fighters on alert and ready to take off on the morning of 9/11.
Drills, drills, drills. Everybody was involved in drills. This way the guilty can claim they were in a drill. Got it?
Number 7. World Trade Center Building Number 7. Watch the videotape of its collapse.
Building 7. Ah, yes. The smoking gun. We want to talk about that. Next question, Charlie.
Number 8. Flight 93 is the 4th plane to crash on 9/11 at 10:03 a.m. Vice President Cheney only gives the shoot-down order at 10:10 to 10:20 a.m. and this is not communicated to NORAD until 28 minutes after Flight 93 has crashed.
What do you expect from Dick Cheney? He shoots his friends in the back with a shotgun.
Fueling further suspicion on the front is the fact that 3 months before the attacks of 9/11, Dick Cheney usurped control of NORAD.
Terrorist.
And therefore he, and no one else on planet Earth, had the power to call for military sorties on the hijacked airliners of 9/11. He did not exercise that power. 3 months after 9/11, he relinquished command of NORAD and returned it to a military operation.
Why do you think our vice president wanted control of NORAD for 6 months? How about you ask him on a hunting trip?
Number 9. Scores of mainstream news outlets reported that the FBI conducted an investigation of at least 5 of the 9/11 hijackers being trained at a U.S. military flight schools. These investigators are now sealed and need to be declassified.
Good luck. Those files are stacked next to the JFK files.